Racing to the Breeders' Cup, just 11 days away until the World Thoroughbred Championships. Let's get you up to date on a big weekend of workouts. Starting out in New York, Chad Brown sent out many of his horses that he's going to be throwing into the Breeders' Cup, starting with Sister Charlie and Uni. Sister Charlie most likely to the filly and mare turf, and Uni could be going into the mile. And meanwhile, Bricks and Mortar, first preference is probably going to be the turf, but they might cross-enter in both the turf and the mile for Chad Brown. Some other news out of the weekend, Steve Asmussen has his entire stable at Santa Anita. They seem to be getting over the surface. And one of the few trainers that's really getting his horses there 2 to 3 weeks early, in the case of Midnight Bassoux. And also working out over the weekend was Wicked Whisper after that impressive win in the Frizette a couple of weeks back out in New York. She worked over the track on Sunday at Santa Anita. Monday, the final one of the final couple of works out for Midnight Bassoux. She'll be going 5 furlongs most likely for Steve Asmussen. Don't expect to see a lot of speed there. Probably a quick final quarter, as Steve Asmussen prefers to do 4 and 5 furlong workouts and then kind of blow out that last quarter of a mile. Some other news over the weekend. Actually, a bunch of horses out of the Breeders' Cup this year. Pee Wee Reese suffered an injury. He is not going to be participating in the turf sprint. Also, Guarana making the decision. Chad Brown not going to be sending her to either the filly and mare sprint or the distaff division. Sadler's Joy is going to be out. This would have been his 3rd straight year in the turf at 1.5 miles, and so he is not going to be running out at Santa Anita. So that's kind of the news of the horses that were out. Some distaff runners getting back on the track after the Zenyatta Stakes a couple of weeks ago. Paradise Woods, most likely probably going to be about 7 or 8 to 1. She was back on the track on Sunday. Meanwhile, Secret Spice also exited the Zenyatta Stakes, and she'll be pointing towards the distaff race along with La Force. And actually 3 horses out of that race, and Ollie's Candy, 4 horses out of the Zenyatta pointing to the distaff. They'll all be taking on Midnight Bassoux at 9 furlongs. So that's a lot of your news. Again, Steve Asmussen going to work out Midnight Bassoux on Monday, and Chad Brown working out most of his horses over the weekend. Classic workers, we'll see probably a few more workers later on this week, but Owendale did work over the weekend, and it looks like right now we're going to have a 12-horse field for the $6 million Breeders' Cup Classic. That's your update for the Breeders' Cup on Monday, October 21st, just 11 days away. Who are you starting to like in the turf and the filly and mare turf? Leave a comment below, share and like the video, and subscribe. Remember, ring that bell for notifications of more race videos. We'll be previewing all 14 races on the Breeders' Cup card this year, as well as a special betting show. So stick right here, subscribe, and ring that bell for notifications. Racing to the Breeders' Cup.